Okay, you're live.
Fantastic. Well, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. And let's get our little business out of the way. The agenda's in front of me and it looks fine. Can I have a motion from one of the commission members to approve it?
I move we approve the agenda as written.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Who's the second? Mr. John?
It's okay, I'll take that aye as being second. Okay, and the minutes from the last meeting, I reviewed them online, and as usual, they seem to be very complete. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I move.
And a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the minutes as written?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good. We have a full house today, which is just fantastic. It's so awesome. So, the next item on the agenda is public comments. I'm gonna ask that if you have comments that are related to, the new concessionaire vendor policy and application, that you hold off until we get to that item on the agenda. If there's anything not related to that specifically, love to hear from any members of the public about any other issues or concerns or news or whatever.
She's gonna power on her device. She has a little thing programmed in her box as long as it starts up.
Okay.
If it does not, then I will go ahead and, is it not?
It's trying.
Okay, let's give it a try and let it, that way you can speak for yourself.
Never know that thing, huh, Jazzy?
Oh, we've got orders in for a new one,
Good.
but. We'll see
Okay,
now.
so,
Do I know? I am sorry for not being here. I have been having medical issues related to my epilepsy, seizures. I am here to follow up on my project that I started with my partner Carson Cuppet, Access for all regarding the accessibility of the park public restrooms here in Union County, La Grande. Do you have any updated information for me?
yeah, if you don't mind, I'll take it. Yeah, Jazzy, so a couple things. One, so the Riverside, when they did the concrete for the exercise equipment outside the playground at Riverside, they were able to raise the concrete pad to the women's restroom, so there's no lip there at Riverside anymore. I don't know if have you been there yet? No? Okay, so and then the men's, they were able to grind it down, so, because the women's was way like 2 inches, right? So they were able to just take that pad out and rebuild it. So we're gonna do the same thing here, just haven't done it yet. And then the other big project will be at Bernie Park. We've got the same contractor online. We haven't gone through a walkthrough yet, but we're gonna have, there's a few spots where they need to grind, also at Bernie Park. And then the bigger question is the wall that's in your way inside the restrooms at Riverside and Pioneer, because those are old restrooms. So we are working on that. We don't have a solution yet because it's complicated. We have to figure out some hardware and a way around it. We don't have a lot of staff this time of year. So it's on the radar, but it hasn't been done yet. So we have made some progress, but not all of it.
I don't know if you guys know, but we did go to Florida in July, and Carson and Jazz took night in nationals,
Cool.
with the project, and that was, pretty substantial, and then when we got home from there, we've been having multiple seizures, and
Yeah.
Jazz has been having a lot of medical issues, so I told her, I was like, you need to at least stop at a meeting and just follow up, and that way you're not looking like you just showed up and did your project and you're not still interested in, you know, so it's
Yeah,
been
we're
about
making-
6 months of
Yeah.
medical stuff, but,
Making some progress.
cool. I just wanted to touch base,
Yeah.
and if you guys are okay with it, we're gonna actually go ahead and leave,
Sure.
so we can get her home and get her medication,
Yeah,
but we just
that's
wanted to
totally
stop
fine.
in and make her presence, cause she
Love it.
needed to follow through, so,
We appreciate you stopping in,
thank you.
Yeah.
and, we
We appreciate you
we'll-
guys taking it.
will we'll keep you updated, and you're welcome to come back anytime at all.
Thank you. We've looked online and I was like, well, we didn't see like any follow-ups in the notes, so I was like, you better make some appearance. So
Good idea.
and we are still. I'm helping her figure out how to continue with her advocacy, but not having an able-bodied speaking person to be her partner, and I don't want to do it for her. So she's got to figure it out.
There we go.
Yeah.
All good.
So
Thank you.
See you, Jazzy.
thank you guys.
Thanks.
We're very excited about the ADA.
Yeah, we're working on it, slow but surely.
The water park.
Oh, the splash park,
The
yeah.
splash
that,
pad.
yes.
We're excited for that.
Right. So, that leads us pretty much directly into the next order of business on the agenda, which is, Stu, would you update us on Splash Pad Development Committee? I saw the email with the rubric for donors and all that.
Yeah, so the design that was chosen by the committee is this one. It's the Ross Recreation, same company that represented the Riverside Park rebuild. It's, whatever that is, Aquatix. They represent them, been super easy to work with. It was essentially a dead heat if the voting, it was really close. So the committee chose to go with the one that had the most votes. I think it was only by 9 that we received. So I think that the community loved both designs. So the next step is they're out fundraising, and they'll be approaching all kinds of different businesses. We're also building this amazing web page. Wow, if I could bring that up, that'd be really cool. 1 second. Oh, that's not it. Dang it, that's not quite it. I don't think. Maybe it is. There's just like the document. Yeah, this is the documents one. Well, where is it? Okay.
Is the
Here-
committee kind of the same as the Riverside Park Committee? Did they just decide to keep going, but with the splash pad?
One person, but mostly it's brand new committee, but same process.
Nice.
Oh, here it is. Maybe. It's gonna be super giant. Where's the thing that says zoom out? So this is a really pretty webpage. So this is what the landing page is for donations. So you can see there's big sponsorships there, 10 to 50, and then when you click in, you can choose your amount and check out right here online. Everything all the way down to $1 community supporter. It talks about each all the little things here. Because you can also sponsor individual toys. As you come down here, you can see that the Vero Splash is this big bucket, and you could buy that for $38,000. And there's all these little chunks, right, are divided in all the little toys. So if you wanted to buy the little toddler gathering station, you could buy that and sponsor that. So then all these will be recorded onto the sponsor board that will be hung outside, similar to the playground. And yeah, it's going to be really slick. So pretty excited about this. I am that good, just so we know.
Is that webpage already live?
No.
Oh.
A few more tweaks, but close.
Did you wanna buy a toy?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Are there any deadlines or
Well,
aspirational deadlines?
yeah, the aspirational. So this is about the toys are run about $270,000 ish. I think. Mark, do you remember? Ish.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. About $275 for just the toys. Then we gotta run concrete, plumbing, electrical. So we're thinking it's around $500,000 total. We don't have that for sure yet. I've got some contractors working on that, and so does the vendor. So after that, the aspirational part is they want to go for a local government grant this spring, which means they have to raise 40% of that.
Wow.
200,000.
Which
This spring, like,
like in April.
oh,
Yeah.
I
So do they
That's-
need the 200 in the bank to?
No, there can be it's a stronger application, right?
With
But no,
the-
it doesn't prevent you from applying as long as you have a plan to get there. But you do have to have the match by October, so it's pretty quick. But aspirational indeed.
All right.
Was anything gonna be asked for the city?
There's a $10,000 placeholder in the city budget request, is what I put in there for now. So
And
we'll see.
then-
We're gonna talk about that later tonight too.
Okay,
It'll be later in your agenda, new business.
budget.
Okay, let's move on to the new, or maybe the final draft of, a concessionaire vendor policy. The application is not in our package today, and we went over that, already in pretty much detail, and I think that that was honed down to
Pretty straightforward.
pretty, straightforward document, but this was more complicated, and Stu and I worked together on it, and,
And one of our key partners is the Optimist Club, so I wanted to make
They
sure
are.
they were invited to be a part of the
Yeah.
conversation, so.
entirely appropriately. So you guys have now had a chance to read this through, and I'm throwing this whole discussion open to everybody.
I'll take notes.
Comments or, clarification, if anything needs clarification, et cetera, et cetera. I think the goals for the document were A, to have a document,
Right.
and B, to have a real even-handed document.
Yep.
This came from the Little League tournament that you guys brought up last year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And,
we were really happy with this.
oh,
Yeah.
then if you think that it's, you're the only privileged party in the whole thing, really,
Right,
you know?
Right.
And what we did was we essentially formalized your, right to run the concession in the concession booth
Right.
yourselves, or if you want a third party to do that, then you have to notify us, and I think that that's probably up to the director to some degree as to whether,
It's what we've been doing already, so.
yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
exactly, yeah, I mean,
The only difference is you can't bring, this prevents you from being an additional food truck of any kind
Yeah.
for any, like, we've done Becky's Burger in the past or whoever. This omits that, that prevents that from happening.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure you knew that as a part of the discussion, because it's non-transferable. So you have the permit, you
Yep.
can't transfer it to Becky's or whoever. They have to get their
Right.
own and go through the process.
Unless they're doing the concessions.
Unless they're inside the
stand.
building.
Yeah.
if they're in the building,
Gotcha.
that's another thing.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
We really
So-
like that.
Yeah.
Um,
We really appreciate
This
all
makes
our
us
work.
feel appreciated.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I mean, it's all true, right? I mean, you guys
Oh.
spend a lot of time and money on that thing,
I
so
think it understates what you guys do. you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
It's-
thank you.
it's important to be in there because you're not gonna pay any fees and people need to know why.
Right.
Right.
We're definitely happy with it.
So,
Yeah, I didn't receive any comments from any commissioners, so.
I think there's,
Good.
in the Optimus, the last sentence of the first paragraph, there's no D, so it's LeGrand Parks may at its discretion.
Is this here?
Wasn't it the director, wasn't it you?
Are you talking about the LGPRD right there? All other,
The last sentence in the paragraph, LGPR may at its discretion.
it looks like there's a D
Shoot,
missing.
I thought it was your discretion, Stu. It should be D.
May restrictions require vendor.
Or it could be the concession committee, which is
I
up
think
above.
that's what it alludes to, yeah, is that committee. So this says, whoever may at its discretion require a vendor application from a sub-vendor. So that's just for the Optimist Club and concession, so usually that's not gonna be required, cause you guys are just gonna let me know, hey, I don't know, the Philly group's gonna be in there, we're gonna provide the things and they're gonna man it and whatever, and you're just gonna send me a note or whatever.
Yeah, well,
So-
probably what we'll have, and we're using it so far, is
I think there should be a D.
a contract
Or, yeah.
that we'll give to you that
Yeah,
shows who's
sure.
gonna be in there
Sure,
running it.
that's fine too. It doesn't need to be that formal, but,
Yeah.
so what do you suggest, John?
Yeah.
Well, I thought from the previous version it was youth, so there should be a D, not just parks.
So you're just talking about director may
Yeah, right.
at their discretion,
It was to make it more specific,
Yeah,
and so we can either say the concessionaire committee or the director, either one,
yeah, what's your preference?
Oh,
concessionaire committee.
Oh.
It does say.
who makes up that?
That's why I'm
It's-
saying that. It's gone.
It's actually defined, it's actually defined.
It is, okay.
Yes, it
It
is.
says, one member of the commission, you guys,
Yeah.
and what else does it say,
Staff.
staff?
Okay.
Yeah,
Can we please remove semicolon in the first?
I already,
Yes.
I already did that.
Okay, thank you. That bugged me out.
That's just not the copy you have, yeah,
Okay.
it's gone, see, it's not
Okay,
here.
good. It's like,
But
no
good catch,
semicolon.
David
necessary.
already caught that. Some teacher people.
So then this goes to council for approval, or it just?
It's an interim policy
lives here.
document.
Yep.
So eventually it would be posted on our
Yeah.
website.
Right, the application and the policy will be posted online, and then people can download it if they want, whatever, and then it'll be a public document, all the things.
so I would like to get something a little clarified in my mind. So when an outside vendor comes in and does a event, if the Optimist wants to run the concession stand, we have to get permission from them, right? We can't just open up our concession
Oh, I see what you're
stand
saying.
if there's
they
some
rent the park,
event in there.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, like if Cycle Oregon comes with their
Right.
2,000 people and what, they bring their own, all the things, you know,
Yeah,
that'd
they
be an
want-
example.
If they don't want us to be a vendor, then they don't have to.
Right.
I guess that's what.
Is does that clear in here, guys? I don't have this memorized, believe it or not, but.
Yeah. I read something.
It talks about, is this the part where it talks about not subcontracting, but some sort of non-transferable language, what's it say on there?
When outside user groups host events, and
That's where,
That's the last very bit, yeah.
What does the word intercurrently mean?
I thought about that. It means at the same time.
so we should replace it with at the same time? Where is it?
it's
In
right
the
there.
last paragraph, the first sentence of the last paragraph.
When an
When
outside
outside
user
user
group
groups, yeah, and
hosts events.
intercurrently act as vendors. And I would say concurrently.
And also act as vendors? What about that?
Well, I think concurrently, like they're doing it at the same time, right?
Okay.
Concurrently. Okay. Act as vendors. So when an outside user groups host events, like this cycle group, or whatever,
Cycle, right.
and concurrently act as vendors. Concurrently with what act as vendors?
At the same time they're
As
acting
they're
as,
hosting.
they're
With
hosting
their
and
event.
They're
vending.
hosting the event and they're acting as a vendor. The
Right.
conditions of this policy shall be applicable notwithstanding non-vendor status, the event organizer host must. Is this paragraph in relation to the Optimist concession stand?
No, not really.
Then
This-
I feel like it's in the wrong place or it needs
No.
another header.
Well,
Cause right now it looks like it's
Looks like
part
it
of
is,
the
yeah.
Optimist concession stand
Yeah.
section.
Mhm. That's what we're doing tonight, is we're fixing it, so.
so what this arose out of was the discussion that we had last time about, for example, a swim club shows up and they've got gear that they wanna sell, and they go to the t-shirt maker and say, hey, you wanna come down and sell at the pool? No, it's
Right.
not the swim club itself selling the stuff, it's a designated vendor.
Right.
And we're saying, you can't really do that, they have to go through the process of, getting the insurance and so on and so forth.
They can
can't
do it,
really
they just have to follow the policy.
Yeah, exactly, they have to follow the policy,
Well, then, in that case, say if the outside user group is this one club, they're not acting concurrently as a vendor, because you're saying that they're acting as, somebody else is coming in and acting as the vendor.
Or-
Yeah, so basically what you're wanting is, if an outside group wants to bring in a vendor, the vendor has to go through the process here. But what is that, okay, so the Optimist, this has nothing to do with us then?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It's a general policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And what if there's a event going on and we wanna open the concessions for it, but the people putting on the event doesn't want us to?
That-
Would we actually, I think it would be a wise idea to have to go through the event host before we just come in and open up.
Yeah, I mean, the way, in my mind, it works is somebody rents the park, then they handle the concessions, but they have to follow the policy. So if they wanna bring in 5 vendors, all the vendors have to give the liability insurance, the license, all the things, right? They have to go through the process, they have to fill an application through the city, not through the Little League or through the swim club, right? So then, we then follow the same exact process, we put those, the committee determines if that works, and then we give them authorization.
Okay.
The trick is, Little League did this differently because they kept all the money. This policy says that the city gets the money. So, you guys need to make that decision, how do you wanna run that? Because that affects the Optimist Club, that affects everybody.
So when
What's up?
they rent the park, do they pay a fee or?
Well, not Little League, because they didn't have a fee because they did all the work. They did bathrooms, they did garbages, they did all the things. So we did not charge them a fee,
But,
because they're a nonprofit group.
So,
but you're limiting the park, the public from the park that.
No, just the ball fields.
Just the,
Okay, but they're not vending, that's the use fee. which
But
is
the host,
completely different thing.
but the host that's putting on the event, when they go to find their vendors, they'll work their own deal with them.
See,
But the vendor still has to do the $75, $50, $25, or $500 monthly, right? That's how I would
that's the question.
envision them to
That's
work
what
that.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
So, I think the answer is yes. I mean, it doesn't matter who is inviting the vendor, to the park to vend. The vendor needs to follow these guidelines, and that protects the city, it protects everybody.
Right, the question to me is the cost. Who gets the money?
what money?
The $75 and
The money it costs to
50
vend in a park.
25 that the vendor
Oh,
pays.
well,
This money. Tier 1, 2, 3.
why would an outside organization get that money? That, to me, that money, that's what we're saying. We're saying that's our fee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. The way we did the Little League tournament was different, because they used the park, we used it as they're a nonprofit, so they agreed to do all the work, including the vendors and all the things, so they got to keep all the money.
So
including the
they
fees.
got fees from vendors to come and vend it during the
They
tournament?
had some sort, do you guys know this?
I
answer?
don't think they charge
They may
a
have
fee for
charged
vendor.
a percentage.
I have no idea.
I think that, yeah, I think they
I
charge.
told them, I don't care, you
Oh,
handle
yeah.
it all, because then I don't have to handle it, my staff doesn't have to worry about it, you tell us where everybody's going.
But in this one, then if Little League was putting it on this year, they wouldn't have to worry about the garbage. The vendors has gotta handle their own garbage.
Yeah.
Last year, they did the garbage and stuff, so.
I don't know what they did,
So,
I was at the playground.
They did. I watched them pick up garbage
Yeah.
and I
I was
watched them
at
come in
those.
and police
Yeah.
it, but, yeah,
so I got two things. One is that I think it needs to be a policy that's the general across the board, that the fees are paid and the fees accrue to the Parks Department, not back to the the
Those-
rentor of the park for that event, et cetera. Now, they can cut a deal with the vendors to get a percentage of the vendors' takings if they want, and that's totally nothing to do with the parks.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
cause right now if a vendor comes in, the parks department doesn't get any percentage of their
That's
cut.
correct.
So I think these in my opinion, as a person who has never attended a tournament, never gotten anything from the concession stand, so it's not very,
You haven't lived.
I have not.
Best hamburgers and hot
Come on,
dogs.
man,
Yeah.
corn dogs.
But
Yeah.
this says, you know, if you're coming onto our property, there's wear and tear. There's,
Sure.
even if they're not leaving their garbage there, the consumers of the product are leaving garbage in the trash cans, and we have to have our custodians or, you know, grounds guys come and clean up.
That's where it's different. So that's why it got gray, because they did all that. They patrolled all the garbage on their own. We did not. They also put money and effort into the ball fields to maintain them, because they put in work days and they do all kinds of work, so we don't have to. That's why it's a gray area when it comes to Little League and Optimist and the partner groups, right? If it's not a partner group, like this club baseball tournament that's coming, they're gonna pay everything, because they're not gonna do anything. We're gonna do it all. So the trick is, how do you codify that in some sort of agreement to make it make sense, so it takes away the gray area? Or do you just leave that up to the discretion of the director or their designee?
Well, I think this is clear. To have an even playing field and have the rules apply the same to everybody, then everybody has to pay a fee with one exception. That exception being the Optimist Club, who have their own physical space, which they shall occupy with no fees.
And like you said, if they wanna work a side deal, they
But-
can.
And they can.
But Stu has a good point in the fact that this club that's gonna come in here, they have nothing to do with LeGrand, they're not here.
Yeah.
They're gonna stay in motels, which is good, it helps the economy, but it doesn't help the park. They're gonna come in, they're gonna use the facilities, just like the patrons in Little League, but Little League is your tax base. Those are the people that are already paying your city taxes, so they have a vested interest in the park already. So to me, to charge them the same amount that you're gonna charge this Northwest Baseball, I'm not sure that that's fair either.
Can I
And
make
I think, I would like to say you put it back on the parks director to be able to work a deal with them, but I think your policy has to state that, and maybe you don't want that hassle. But it does seem like if it's a local group trying to bring economic, whatever, not development, but you know what I mean, activities into our community that helps the community as a whole, I think that's a little different than an outside group doing it solely to either make money, which could be what it is, or in this particular one. These guys, I hate to tell you, Stu, I worked with these guys 15 years ago, and you may not wanna do this again. They can be
Yeah,
an
I talked to-
absolute pain in your, you know what.
I talked to Landman quite a bit about it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. They destroyed one of the motels downtown, and yeah, it was not fun. But that's beside the point.
We'll
And
see how
they
it
don't bring anybody. The problem is they bring a couple parents and that's it. But so in that case, you need to make some money off of them, because all they did was brag about we had the nicest facility they ever played in. So we have something to offer.
Am I allowed to make a public comment?
It's up to the chair.
Oh, yeah, please.
Okay, so as a vendor who vends at festivals, these are incredible rates. These are really well set. Everybody should be able to achieve them. I personally don't see any reason why everybody should just pay that. Like, I mean, other than, you know, the Optimist Club specific stuff, these are so reasonable. And I think that just having everybody pay them the same, like if you think about $75 a day for a motorized like food truck, there's no chance they're not gonna make more than $75 in a day at an event. Right. So as a vendor, these are incredible rates.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, that's not gonna break the bank for Little League or
The only
anybody.
other, fee a food truck will have is, the event, they have to pay an event fee, which is like $55 or something. So, yeah, but yes, very reasonable.
I don't know, in my opinion, I think every vendor, separate from how they became a vendor, with not the Optimist, but, you know, should pay the same rates. Like, I don't know, it just seems the most fair and the most, like, even-handed. Like, exempting certain people because they're there when the Little League is there, but those same people who come during a different tournament would have to pay the fee. That would just get confusing, I think.
That's fair. My only point is that I wanna take care of partners that do work in the park somehow. And
But
this-
they're not the vendors,
Right,
are they?
No, you're exactly right. No, you're 100% right. It doesn't really affect them, other than that, the side deal is where I was getting at. If they work some sort of percentage break where they let them vend and they used it as a fundraiser.
Right.
But they
Okay,
can still
so-
do that.
Yeah.
What's that? It's a blanket policy.
Yes, I move that it's a blanket policy. I don't know if we needed to do that, but.
Before we adopt it, like, we should have a motion to adopt, but before,
Okay.
we still have to fix this bottom part, right?
Yeah,
So
so
it's outside user groups, we need to go back to that. I think we got this one solved, David.
I think that that's a reasonable solution. I see both sides of the argument, but, I think that the simple thing is have it be a blanket policy. And, I mean, yeah, I think that's the simplest thing. But what you said was, it's exactly right. This is really misphrased, this
Yeah.
last paragraph.
Well,
So,
I think Stu has fixed it.
Well, did he, or did you
Well,
wanna
just
say
the
and provide
time.
their own vendors? Because that's concurrent, you're right, that's when they're their own vendor.
exactly, that's right. Yes.
Probably should say and provide their own vendors.
So.
Whether it be them or somebody that they've brought in.
So let's establish what our goal is, okay? I think if I were to speak the sentiment, it is that, if a swim club, for example, shows up and they wanna sell their own gear to parents from other clubs, whatever, that's fine, they can do that. They're using the pool and they can do that.
But then I guess the
But
question
if
is,
they get a sub vendor, if they hire somebody to sell that stuff,
Right.
then that person has to do it.
Right.
Did I say that clearly enough? Is that?
Yeah, that's-
Okay,
that's-
so then
So
we
it's
need,
not concurrent.
you're exactly right, we need to reword this
It's
part of
an
it
outside
to
user groups.
reflect that.
okay, so we are saying though, that if the swim team is putting on an event and they wanna sell their own stuff, they don't need a vendor.
Yes,
Correct.
Okay,
So that's the concurrently part, when they act as their own vendor. The part we need to add is if they subcontract, then that's.
Outside groups choose to subcontract vendors.
Well, but you're saying when they do act concurrently, that they must, the conditions of this policy shall be applicable.
yeah, so
And
what,
that's not really true.
right,
It's not.
what it says right now is that if the swim team wants to sell stuff, they have to be a vendor. They
Right.
have to follow the vendor policy.
Right, yeah.
But
we
if
don't- I
we're
don't think
saying-
that's the sentiment.
If we don't want that, then that needs to say, when an outside user groups host an event and concurrently act as vendors, the conditions of this policy do not apply, are not applicable.
Right. Yeah,
When, if they bring if they bring in vendor partners, then
They are.
it is, yeah.
yeah, I'll just write that down, when they bring, and then we can tweak it. And outside vendors, those. So now we can tweak it, now we got a spoken
Okay.
word on the screen.
can you put your cursor next to the
Yeah,
change you made?
it's right here.
Should that maybe be
That's
R
exactly
not?
what I hand wrote,
Instead
that's
of do
good.
not?
Whoops, whoa. Sorry,
Maybe except.
Should it be policy R not?
what?
The conditions of the
Why?
policy are not instead of do not?
Yeah, that would work too.
Ooh, dare
Dare
not.
you.
Dare.
Or not.
Don't start messing with the typer.
You'd be scribing, right?
Yep. When they bring in outside vendors, those vendors will need to follow this policy. I get, that's just plain language, so that works for me, but.
When they, I would say when such a user group, just they is, when such a user group brings, brings, mhm.
So maybe related to their event?
Yeah.
So Optimus Club rents out has a giant event, they rent out the entire park, then, it's on, the Optimus Club can sell their own, Optimus hats and shirts and whatever. But as soon as they bring in a
Somebody to sell ice
taco
cream bars.
vendor,
Right.
ice cream vendor,
Then they have to
then
pay the
the-
fee and.
then they pay the fee and do the
Or,
policy.
or you go to the ad dad because you want a bunch of nice silkscreen t-shirts.
Right.
And you say to ad dad, you wanna come down and sell them, then he has to fulfill the conditions.
Let me ask
No,
you a
that's-
question though. What if the swim club decides to sell food? Do they need to
No,
get,
because it's for themselves. They can send, as long as it benefits them.
so
but
they
if
don't
they-
need to get required health department permits?
No, but if they brought in Becky's Burger Wagon to sell food, that would be the outside, that would trigger this.
Okay, I'm actually totally okay with this if we're talking about like clothes or whatever, but when you throw food in the mix, I feel
Yeah.
like, should we be asking them then to get the health permit?
I
I
would say
think
that's
they-
a health department issue, not a park.
They do that
Yes.
now.
Yeah, it's a health department issue, and I think they have to
They
have
have to.
somebody that has.
Yeah.
Which, in theory, they have the health inspector there.
He's the parent on
I
the
was
swim
gonna
club.
say,
He's one
isn't
of the
Ryan
parents.
still?
He, if,
So-
if he hasn't said anything, he's extremely type A. If he hasn't said anything yet, he ain't gonna say nothing, and,
That's a nice way to say it.
my feeling is just leave that alone.
Okay.
You know, there's a degree to which you can control these things, and there's a degree to which you should leave them alone.
I think this is better than it was, so
Yeah.
we'll have more questions as more events happen. The
We may
biggest-
need to fine tune this, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not cast in stone.
Of course. And the biggest one will be Little League, cause it's so different if they have it in 5 years when they bring their tournament back, but that's a long time from now,
Okay.
probably.
And the final thing was, I see the point of maybe this final paragraph,
Should be
maybe we
moved.
could put it somewhere else in the document so it doesn't appear to be associated with the optimists.
Well, I think with the
Paragraph.
outside user.
I think, yeah, with the heading.
The heading helps.
Yeah, there we go, you're right.
Okay,
Good
And
to
you'll,
see that.
will you send us copies?
sure.
Okay.
I'll send you the updated one.
Or to Nick or whatever.
Yeah, Nick has the original that we were
Yeah.
working on, but
All right, so do we have some kind of consensus on this as being,
probably a motion, voting would be good, please.
okay? Does somebody wanna, make a motion to accept this, concessionary policy as written?
So moved.
Okay, second,
Who was the second? Bob. Thank
Bob.
you.
All in favor of accepting it as currently written?
Aye.
Aye. Done. Boom.
Good.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
everybody, that's,
Stu, could we?
okay, thanks,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Could I
See you,
get
man.
those
Thanks.
dates on that?
And thank you.
baseball?
Yeah. You're more than welcome, thank you.
That
Dates.
baseball,
8/9/10.
8/9.
May.
I'm at Silverwood with kids, which means you can't come with me.
Just send that to me
Thank
again,
you.
I couldn't find it in my email. Thank you, sorry.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys, for coming.
Yeah.
Great work.
Okay, closing this.
All right,
Closing this.
so let's move on to new business, and Michaela.
Okay, so mine should be pretty simple because it's really just preliminary, kind of like feeling stuff out. But the Arts Commission has been going through a process of like trying to like organize, not to the extent where you guys did the Parks Master Plan. Like it's not quite to that extent, but kind of deciding what our priorities are, where we want to go. And one of those things is getting more art into the public. And so one of the things we wanted to try and do is get art into maybe like underutilized park spaces or you know, how can we incorporate art maybe into some sort of like already existing park facilities. So mostly we wanted to come and talk about, can you help us identify some of those spaces? Do you have any concerns about bringing art into parks? You know, do you have any parks that are, you know, chronically undervisited, and can we include something arts-wise to help draw people there? Yeah, that's my spiel.
Okay, is the kind of thing you're talking about something that would be ongoing, every day? Would it be associated with other events? What would you?
So it would be more like permanent art installation, so like an actual installation in a
Okay.
park, or like
Alright.
one of the things that we're looking into is like asphalt art. So how can we, there's a group that champions putting art literally onto pavement to make it safer, because people will slow down just naturally when there's something they don't normally see. So it would be like maybe not one instance, but like once the piece of art is set, the piece of art would be set because it's outdoor. So it would be an installation kind of a thing.
Okay.
Kind of it's similar to like the mural at the library.
library,
It
yeah.
just lives there. That was a project one time, and now it just exists.
Okay.
So sorry.
So these are not activities, these are installations?
Right.
Okay. Alright,
I guess I'm wondering, do you anticipate them being something that are primarily visual, like you look at it, or something that could be interactive, like
Here's the
it's
thing.
a statue that kids could climb on, or
Here's the
something?
thing: we're at preliminary enough points that that's something that we can definitely collaborate on if you guys are interested in that. I personally, I think that anytime you can make art interactive and have some sort of play element, I think that goes really well. It's really good for people and children, like humans as a whole. It's good for them, but then also it works really well for kids. So I think, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the commissioners would also agree that if we'd like to make it interactive, we definitely can. We'll just put that as part of like the artist call when we go to do whatever project.
do you have any particular grants already and lined up for these things?
So we don't. Part of what we're doing in this process is getting our ducks in a row so that when we go to write grants, we can say we have the support of the Parks Commission, we have blanket match from whatever, this is our project lined out and detailed. Mostly this is just preliminary of like, where should we put them? And as the Parks Commission, it made sense to come and talk to you rather than just decide, like, we think we're gonna put a statue in the middle of the baseball diamond or whatever. So since the Parks Commission is in the
Okay.
parks,
So something that comes to mind immediately is, I know that the city had very definite policies regarding the semi-mural installation at the library.
Yep.
Okay. Stu, do you think that the city would have, specifications, requirements for permanent installations, on park
answers yes,
property?
right? Like it's downtown that has a specific, or it's all of it.
It's all of it.
So there is a public art policy, so we would follow whatever that is. I don't know it off the top of my head, but yes.
Yeah, they have a, talks
Business
about
option.
procurement, it talks about, locations, it talks about collections, talks about all kinds of things.
So it would have to be congruent with that?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
I think the purpose is mostly just to make you aware of it, talk about it, maybe add it to an agenda in the future. Ask staff to go give a report back on are there underutilized spaces. Those are the kinds of deliverables I'm envisioning that would help. The Arts Commission just needs some, I guess, guidance a little bit and approval.
Certainly in principle, it sounds absolutely wonderful. I think we need, maybe some specifics.
Right. Yeah.
To discuss.
So are you asking them to bring a proposal to you, or what do you mean by that?
What I would say would be, if you guys could come up with 4 or 5 potential sites and potential projects for those sites.
Riverside has space, Candy Cane has space.
Oh, yeah, I think
Those
that
would,
this,
those are,
but the
There's-
appropriateness of a given space for a given installation you might have issues. I can think of some of the more remote parks, like the little park over on
On
Y.
why. Mm-hmm.
That's prone to vandalism over there, I would say,
Yeah.
given the neighborhood, but
I guess my feeling on art in the parks stuff at Bernie that's kind of
Sculpture stuff.
sculpture stuff that's kind of, it's wearing. I mean,
Yeah.
so either you have to have funds to maintain,
Right.
or it has to be metal. You know,
I also think there's, I mean, like interactive stuff is cool, but like, I think visually, like things that pop out at you, like you talked about on the road, like, I don't know what Stu thinks, but like when you look out at our bathroom facility out here, and it's just a blank color. I know like it gets spray paint and tagged and stuff, but like if it was a cool mural or something,
Yeah.
Bathroom
Yeah,
murals.
bathrooms is a great idea.
that was the first thing that popped
Can
in
you
my
put a
head.
mural of a kid peeing on the bathroom?
Yeah.
Like a Banksy?
I don't think it will. I don't think it will fit the public art policy.
yeah, I think it's good. Like going back to those the things you guys did on the power things,
Yeah.
and
Single
seeing
box wraps.
like looking at them whether they've been vandalized after 2 years or whatever.
Well, and
Yeah,
don't murals
Those-
tend
Nothing
to
so far.
reduce?
I was gonna say those might be less likely to get vandalized
'Cause it's
because of
kids'
their
art.
location.
Yeah.
There's lighting everywhere.
Yeah.
It's downtown, so that's probably like. Whereas you come down here in the middle of the night and there's no one here. There's no lights and stuff. So
When you have a good spot, they do jury in, and it does cut down vandalism. And you've seen it in Edinburgh, Glasgow, where they've done the whole side of buildings. It's beautiful. But that park on Y used to be the flower park. And it used to be a ladies' organization that kept the flowers up.
The garden club.
Yeah, and so the one, I'm remiss because I can't think of the proper name for Pumpkin Park.
Benton.
Benton.
Benton Park, okay. Well, that's the most wide open space unless they've built a barn there lately, yeah.
Well, and I have seen interactive murals. So in Austin, there's there's a neighborhood that just has a low wall. I'm not sure why the wall is, it's not like part of a building. But there's just this mural, all super long, and I think it's got numbers, and there's like a key, and it's just things from the neighborhood, like history of the neighborhood
Sure,
and
yeah.
things like that. So it's static. It sits there. It wouldn't take a lot of maintenance, perhaps, but it still is interactive in a way. So
Yeah.
that could be very interesting if it was like the history of LeGrand or something like
And
that.
the mural that's down by the library is that way too, because of where you stand. It changes the perspective, and he
Yeah.
did a bunch of stuff in there too.
Right.
That hasn't been vandalized in a couple of years.
But
So-
like big sculptures where kids can just
It
climb on.
disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Do you have?
Oh, yeah, it's Seattle, but which is appropriated to Wales, but
Yeah.
just things. I think those are cool. I think you know,
Like, because kids are told so often, don't touch that,
Yeah.
right? And that
especially
you,
in like museums.
yeah, like no, you get to climb on the well or whatever. So much fun.
Yeah, this is the one.
This is what happens every time you talk about public art. Yes, we should do a rhino with a
Yeah.
whatever, like every time.
Oh, how pretty!
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
that's in a building
So-
in Glasgow.
Maybe we could,
And they got paid to do it. Everything was
Yeah.
we could, have just a consensus that this sounds great. Could you come back with, let's say 5, ideas
Sure.
for us to
When
be
you
able to
say
get this idea more concrete?
when you say come back with ideas, do you mean like would you like us to decide where we think good locations are? Do you want a fully fledged, all the way done project? What do you
Don't
think?
put
Okay.
that kind of time into it.
Okay.
I think a location and a
Couple
sketch
of-
up.
Potential,
Yeah, like, and 'cause
Mock-up
we
or
won't have like
sketch up.
real art for you because we're not
No.
necessarily artists. We would do an artist call,
Yeah.
but like,
It's probably a theme. Probably is what you're looking for is a
Right.
theme and a location.
yeah, okay,
Because
Exactly.
you know it could be whale, it could be a dolphin.
Well,
Sure.
yeah, and there's some parks like a sculpture here might not work with all the ball fields and stuff like that, but at Benton or at Bernie,
Mhm.
that might be a good spot.
But
So we
like
have,
just a big collection of bats, aluminum bats, all
heck yeah.
or an arch of aluminum bats or
Mhm.
something.
Oh, I saw an installation once. It was just all canoes and
Yeah.
all
Nice.
like tied together in wild ways and really high up.
Yeah.
I didn't always wanna walk under it, cause I'm somehow convinced that one of those canoes was gonna fall on me, but it was very cool, just old canoes.
Okay, so let me check in and make sure we have consensus on this, that, we like the idea, and you could move ahead and bring us some specifics, semi-specifics,
Mhm.
that'd be just great, and thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Wonderful, okay. I'm gonna keep us
Yeah,
moving,
thanks.
so Stu,
See ya.
See you later.
we're approaching
Thanks
that
for the
season
butter.
again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nice to see you, Michaela.
Yeah, so the city's budget request is a little bit different this year with the new city manager. The nuts and bolts are the same. The council adopts the budget in June, we work backwards by a budget committee recommendation in May, and then before that, the staff and commissions and people put in their budget requests. So we're in the request phase right now, which means, we've talked about, John wanted to do kind of he wanted to show the council everything that's been deferred and everything we need. So we added things like the pool HVAC for $1 million, the large pool boiler, the parks, there's a parks, staffing need in there. There's some urban forestry stuff in there that isn't necessarily needs, but it's more of hey, we're looking at this in the future. So this giant list, and for the life of me, it's on my desk and I can't pull it up. So I'm gonna do it from the best I can from memory, and I'll send it out to you guys. This year's budget request, this morning, we met with all the directors, we kind of fleshed some of it out, and we came up with, we're gonna cut 2 part-time parks positions, but add in a full-time position to replace it, and that's gonna improve efficiencies, training, all the things for parks. The pavilion rentals have been sky high, and it's hard to keep up, especially this summer. And we've kind of proof of concept this winter with a seasonal to see if that would work or not. So that's gonna go in the budget. The pool, locker room flooring will go in the budget, and that is to match the deck, which is the more traction. We're gonna, with that project, we'll fix the drainage, so the puddles will, most of them hopefully will disappear. So regrade it, fix the drains, and then, so that project is in the budget. There's a bunch of Morgan Lake stuff in that budget for the diversion structure that has to be for permits and design fees and wetland delineations that we're doing, for that project. There's one, and that's it for the pool, right, Mark? We're doing the floors. What was the other thing I told you? Oh, the placeholder for the splash pad, the $10,000 for the splash pad, is in there for a matching amount. Was there something else?
The 100,000.
Oh, yeah, and 100,000 request for, into the reserve account for future HVAC repairs, because that's a big dollar, or just future pool repairs, pool maintenance repairs. The pool's 27, 8 years old. It's starting to fall apart. HVAC's old. Those air handlers aren't designed to go 28 years in an environment that they're in. So there's a motor in there whirring, it's gonna go out any day. It's $4,000, right? So stuff like that has to be done constantly at the pool. So, $100,000 for pool repairs, $10,000 splash pad, the flooring for the locker rooms around 50 or 70,000, the staff person's around 55,000 in parks. That might be it. That's close. I think that's it.
Does it continue the investment in parks equipment, playground equipment,
It's not in there.
the turf fund?
Turf's in there. Turf's not in there, but it needs to be in there because that's something that we promised the other 2 user groups. Thank you.
And I think the playground, because, like Sunny Hill, Bernie, those are getting up there in age.
Do you want to trade that? Do you want to add? Let me try to talk. Normally we put 30,000 towards that, I think. Would you prefer putting 30,000 towards the splash pad and putting 0 in playgrounds? Or would you trade off the splash pad for that? Cause I think the environment we're in, we have to make that trade. It's not gonna be both.
I think the splash pad is better for, grant getting, so I would still put it toward that myself.
I
So
would
this
agree
is
too,
the
I mean,
discussion
if
we
you're,
need to have, I guess.
if we're doing this big fundraising for the splash pad, then maybe we can get the money that way, but we're not gonna be fundraising for playground.
Yeah, and then, so this is
maintenance.
just, the idea is to just like 25,000, and then in 3 or 4 years, you can replace one of the older one, and then just cycle through, the playgrounds.
And
So
part
I
of the
just-
logic is that we replaced
Yeah.
the older one at Riverside already.
Yeah, so, I don't know, I would like a list of, and just kinda keep them
Which
on
is
that
also
list.
something to keep in mind for our next 5-year plan.
And Sunny Hills is in this current 5-year plan, so that's the one we do.
I have a feeling that the splash pad project's gonna need all the help it can get to gain funding traction. So I would say,
You would say put it in the splash pad?
Yeah.
Okay, we just need some sort of direction on that.
somebody wanna make,
Do we have to decide this, meeting?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, we do, because
We're missing how many
well, that's what
restated,
happens when you don't show up.
That's what you
Yeah.
do
We've got
when
a
you have a quorum.
yeah.
We're time sensitive on
David
this,
is
cause
gone.
those budget requests are due before the next meeting.
Steve?
So I would say something like, in view of the deferrable nature of current playground equipment maintenance, that funds be, funds for that purpose be deferred, and instead those funds be directed towards splash pad, something like that.
And just for this year,
For this year, for this budget cycle.
and then our intent would be next year we'd continue to,
Yeah.
we'd go back to the
I think the,
playground
Yeah,
replacement
yeah.
fund.
Stu,
So
Is
if I'm
that-
looking at the capital improvement list, all that's left is the restrooms at Benton and Candy Cane, and we're gonna fund those through a separate source, Park SDCs and, different grant. So those are already funded, we'll say. And then the next one would be Sunny Hills Playground. So there's really splash pad and the playground are the only things that left to be funded in this 5-year plan. I just need consensus or direction
Yeah.
because you had 2 different opinions at least. so.
What- What's the, when's the end of this 5-year plan, I can't.
27, I think, 22 to 27. So we're gonna kick that off probably in this fall, probably. We'll kick up the update.
among the commission members here now, do we have agreement that, that the splash pad is a greater priority than playground equipment maintenance for this budget cycle? This year's budget cycle? Do we have agreement on that? Or do we need to talk about it some more?
I still think it should go towards playgrounds, and then the splash pad, it can be funded through other means, through fundraising.
Okay?
So, I mean, I see both points, and my first thought was, no, we should just keep it in the playgrounds, but if you're saying that you don't think we can raise $30,000 to go to the splash pad, and that it would be better if we used that city $30,000 that way, I don't have any of my own knowledge to know how easy it is to raise an
Let me-
extra
$500,000.
$30,000.
Let me reframe it a little bit. There's a $30,000 Royal Horse grant that we will get. There's $40,000 to $50,000 from Sir Optimus Club that we likely will get. So there's 80-ish, 70 to 80,000. We need to get to 200. So that's 100. So the reality is we need to raise 130,000. If you agree to this, that means they have raised 100,000. For the playground, they raised $180,000. So the difference is when to your point, John, earlier, when the application is written, this is guaranteed money, right? Because it's budgeted. It looks better in a grant application when you have guaranteed money. If you have soft money that's just pledged, it doesn't look as good. That doesn't mean that we can't include it. So the more money that's already funded in the application, the better. So with all, I just want to provide all that information for discussion.
And, but of the like 130, you know, in kind, the concrete work and stuff, we've had, the community steps up for those type of things too.
We don't have any contracts signed, but yeah, the match money counts.
Yeah, my thinking is that the timeline is shorter for this project, considerably shorter, and the committee, which is going to raise the funds, is not the dynamic committee that was engaged in the Riverside Park. That was something to see. Those people were smoking. And, you know, it was amazing what they did. And I'm not sure that this group's gonna have the same dynamic quality as that group.
I agree.
And that's why I'm thinking, you know, maybe a little more wind in the sails for this fundraising group would be a really positive thing. And I don't disagree with you either, I'm just thinking, well, which is the best place for that 30 grand?
We usually
What
have
do you think?
consensus. I think the best, you're gonna have to call for a vote on this one
Well,
eventually.
Bob hasn't said anything.
There you go, Bob.
Thank you. I've been percolating. I'd like to see the splash pad built. I walk through Candy Cane Park every day, at least once. I don't have any concerns about it at the moment. The kids are still playing in it. They
Not,
seem-
not Candy Cane, Bob,
I'm
sorry,
sorry,
Sunny Hills. yeah.
Sunny Hills, you're
Yeah.
right. I drive by Candy Cane many times. I walk through Sunny Hills. And I take that little pathway down. And the kids are using it and they appear safe.
Yeah.
You know,
So you think a 1 year, $30,000 deferral would be acceptable?
it is to me.
Okay.
So, that being said, John,
That's fine.
you go along with it, or you wanna call a vote? Should we call a vote?
You call vote. I'll
Okay.
vote no.
That's the only way we can do it.
So all of us understand the issue, and what the vote's gonna be on. Somebody wanna make a motion to call a vote on this?
I'll make a motion that we defer or have the 30,000 go towards the splash pad instead of the playground, whatever we're calling it, slush fund, at least for this 1 year.
Okay.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
I think you're supposed to say
I
nay,
think
aren't
that's
you?
a nay. We will
Okay.
take his eye.
Aye is a nay.
Good, that being done, do we have any other budget
Nope.
things we need to hear about or talk about?
No, that's the one, those, the reserve account things, unless you have questions about it.
At any point, do you need the commission to give its blessing to the budget proposal? Is that gonna be at the next session? of our
No,
commission?
you're giving me that tonight with all the information I gave you. If you have no questions or issues, it'll just be published in the budget document that the Parks Commission recommends this budget.
Okay, we all have an understanding of that? Yes,
Thorough-
yes?
thorough.
Okay, great. Commissioner comments, thank you for the previews in
Did you, staff report, you use that?
staff
out there yet?
reports, I think that's what I meant.
Staff report on.
Oh, it's not even on there, sorry.
Yeah, I
Failed to do
misspoke.
that on, like,
Staff
last
reports.
read.
Why didn't you tell me that a week ago when you saw
I
it
read
first?
them in the email.
Yeah.
It's, it's on my phone.
No.
Yeah. I read
Um,
it earlier.
So maybe we could,
Any questions?
I was
for
gonna say, do
staff?
you have any rather than having us go through them, do you have any questions? I'm sure the big thing for the pool for Mark is that we host the swim meet this weekend. And
Are there
I-
people already arriving?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, there's 3
8:30
teams that will be
tomorrow.
practicing tonight.
Oh, I see, okay.
How much water do you have to put back in tonight?
Probably only a couple thousand gallons.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty close.
What's the temperature going down to?
78, 79.
Yeah.
so, yeah, that's gonna be 178 registered swimmers, I think,
181.
181 registered swimmers, so
Close.
that closes
Okay.
note.
So you reduce the temperature of the pool for the meet?
Yes, yeah.
And then how long
Well,
does it
say-
take to get back?
well,
When
it's-
do I go swimming next week? Do I wait till Wednesday?
We didn't change the lap pool very much.
Oh,
The lap pool's about the same. The
Yeah,
the smaller
the,
pool is what.
the small pool is what
really
we had
had to
to
get
lower
lower.
because they'll be using that as a cool down pool.
oh, okay.
It's not very cooled down if it's 90 degrees.
I like getting in on the small pool after I've been swimming.
So it's at 81 right now, so.
Okay. So, is there anything else that you wanna highlight from the pool?
The only other big one was like Stu brought it up is we ordered the supply a fan motor for the HVAC unit because that one is, I've been praying for the last week that it's gonna make it through the swim meet. It's like I'm just stressed about it.
So I'm very proud that my son is now a lifeguard
Yes.
pool, and,
Which one is your son? What does he look like?
he's one of the tallest ones with the
He's
giant
tall.
feet,
Tall, scraggly hair, that's what I would go with.
yeah.
Tall one with giant feet. I'm supposed to figure out that.
His name is Ephraim, and he
Ephraim.
swims 50 and 100 and relay.
In the relays, yeah.
Really helps with freestyle, those big feet. Seriously.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm really happy that he's working the pool. I think it's just great.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Chris, any highlights, anything you're exceptionally proud of or worried about, or
No, not
everything's
really.
groovy?
Everything's
Adult
fine.
basketball, big jump.
Yeah, adult basketball had a pretty big jump. We're halfway through the season already, so
Cool.
we got 7 teams and 62 people are playing in it, and so yeah,
And more girls.
more girls. Yeah, we have this first year we've been able to have 1 woman per team. There's actually one team that has 2 on it, so that's really cool.
Cool. All right.
That's awesome.
Commissioner comments? None. We've done our commenting. John?
Oh, at some point I'd like to talk about, and it doesn't have to be tonight, the lights at, Christmas lights at Riverside Park, and maybe moving that to Max Square and making it more of a downtown event rather than, away. And then we can try to get, the downtown association, Main Street Association, I don't know what they're called. Help.
Just 2 follow-ups, they already have one, and ours was out of the wildly popular at Riverside this year.
Really?
The
Yep.
kickoff concert.
The kickoff.
Yep, it was unreal, it was amazing. Over 100 people there, super busy, the vibe it was great. That's just my comeback, not that we don't have to have that discussion later, we can.
Alright.
We'll add it to the agenda later,
Okay.
and you'll learn more about it.
Yeah, the things that were on my list was I have patterns to add a lot more stuff. And we just didn't have any really funds to get anything to do that, so.
We'll have a full discussion next time, how about that, we'll add it to the agenda.
Okay, great.
Fair enough. If there are no other commissioner comments, commissioners have hours to report. I will give people a reminder. If you have hours to report, tell.
There's a time card on the email, so fill that out and bring it.
What's that again?
There's a time card
Put
in your
a
email,
volunteer time
Okay.
card.
and if you need to fill that out,